Amanda Pitts was first on the scene. She joins us now live with all the late-breaking details.
That crash happened months ago, but the damage is clear as day. This is where that alleged drunk driver crashed, pushing this home a foot off of its foundation. These are the homes that people have had no choice but to leave behind. The owner of this home says he lost everything, family photos, mementos. He's now staying in a motel. It's hard to believe until you're actually standing here looking at the damage. This heavy rain washed away roads. It caused bridges to just crumble. These are those rowboats that capsized in the Long Island Sound last night. You can see the damage along the bottom here. Last time we were here, we couldn't even stand in this backyard. Over here, you can see just how high the water got. You can see the water line. Many driveways are still washed away. Here, a sign is toppled onto its side. That 6-year-old has been on life support since that brutal beating last week, and his family told me this afternoon they've made the heartbreaking decision to take him off of life support. 95 North and South has been closed since about 5:30 this morning. Here's a look at the scene as it stands. You can see that tanker truck is still underneath. That man found injured has serious burns. Police say he was found hours after that investigation initially started. Now the focus is on clearing these storm drains before the next batch of storms rolls through. Only after that reward was posted did people turn over those puppies to animal control. These are 2 of them now.
We begin with remembering fallen firefighter Robert Sharkovich Sr. Flags across the state, like here in New Haven, remained at half-staff in his honor. Sharkovich, better known in the community as Sharky, died Tuesday while fighting the Hawthorne fire.
Yesterday, people lined the streets to pay tribute as his body was taken to a funeral home in Wethersfield, his hometown. His family waiting hand in hand. We sat down exclusively with them to learn about his character and, of course, his commitment to the community.
NBC Connecticut's Amanda Pitts joining us live now in Wethersfield with more on what they had to say, what they were willing to share, and how he's being remembered. Amanda.
Well, Mike, Keisha, the Sharkovich family is just devastated, as you can imagine, but it's support like this and the fact that their beloved Sharky died doing what he loved that's helped getting them through.
That he truly was a hero.
Robert Sharkovich Sr., or Sharky, was meant to be a firefighter.
Someone that the guys look up to. I guess I wasn't surprised when I heard that he was going to the Berlin brush fire the other day.
The 66-year-old dropped everything Tuesday and rushed to help firefighters in Berlin fight the Hawthorne fire.
That was Robert. He didn't have to just be Wethersfield. I've heard nights where he's gone to Rocky Hill, he's gone to Newington, he's been in Glastonbury, because that's what the firefighters do. They're a brotherhood, and it doesn't matter the town that they work in. Someone needs help, we all have to get there.
He was doing just that when this family's worst fear came true. His sister Karen remembers the phone call from her brother Gary.
He said there had been an accident. Rob was at the brush fire and was on the UTV, and it flipped over and he had passed away. I actually just remember hanging up the phone and screaming. Obviously the next awful thing we had to do was go to my 2 nephews, Camden and Caden Sharkovich, Robert's 2 twin sons, their soccer game, and deliver the awful news to them.
That awful news still so fresh. The Sharkoviches leaning on each other and their extended family in the fire community and beyond.
It's pretty overwhelming, in a good way. You know, it helps so much. You know, driving down the Silas Deane Highway and the procession and children just standing there as we were coming into Farley Sullivan the other day, and the support is just overwhelming. But it's great. It's what we need right now.
We're all Sharkies, but it's just, yeah, that name stuck by him, and it'll be stuck with him forever. We'll never forget.
Now, Sharky had quite the career. He served 25 years in Hartford. He volunteered for 22 years here in Wethersfield, and coming up at 6, we'll dive more into his career and tell you what got him into firefighting all those years ago. Live in Wethersfield, Amanda Pitts, NBC Connecticut News. A quiet Sunday for this family in Waterbury turned into anything but. That's the terrified screams from the Hernandez family as bullets riddled their Wadsworth Street home.
All of a sudden I hear fireworks, so I'm thinking, okay, it's normal, but when I look at the window, I see a group of kids, or young men actually, firing at the house.
A neighbor's camera caught it all. The gunman in a black SUV passed the home twice before firing over 20 rounds.
One started shooting from the side, the other one started shooting from the other side of the car.
And a third, wearing a mask, made eye contact with Hernandez, who was feeding her infant, but didn't stop.
Just kept shooting. I just got up, took my kid, and ran to get my other kid.
Her infant's nursery took the brunt of the damage.
So this is my baby's room, my newborn's room. As you can see, this is the bullets that went through from outside inside. There's 4.
A bullet hole above the changing table and several tearing through clothes in the closet.
So this is the hole on the clothing.
In her 11-year-old son's room are bullet holes too. He just walked out of the room seconds before.
I'm terrified to be here. I don't know if they're going to come back.
The family moved here from New York to give their kids a better life. They say they don't know why this happened or what happens next.
My peace, this was my peace. When we got here, all of us, this was our peace, like where everybody felt safe, like nothing could happen to us here, And they broke that day.
Over 30 homes in this community were flooded. Basements were destroyed along with everything in them. For some families, their most precious possessions.
What's behind me are the few boxes that our neighbors were able to save and the memories of our daughter. What we have saved are in those boxes.
These boxes contain the only remaining mementos of Nelba Marquez Green's 6-year-old daughter, Anna Grace. The first grader was killed in the 2012 Sandy Hook shooting.
Most of our daughter's things are gone. Over $50,000 of my husband's instruments are gone. Our memories, our photos.
They were all ruined during last week's devastating floods when 4 feet of water poured into her basement. These pictures show what was left when the water receded.
What you will see in those photos is 23 years of our memories and the 6 years of memories we had with our daughter and everything we tried to save.
Dozens of her neighbors are in a similar boat.
So this line was pretty much where the water level was at, so pretty much at my chest.
Gabriel Goja was playing with his kids in his basement when water came pouring in. Luckily, they made it out okay. They only moved in here 6 weeks ago.
Like our wedding photos are gone, baby photos.
With this being a private development, many of these homeowners will have to front the cost of repairs. The town says for that reason, they can't help.
Without flood insurance, the option really is FEMA, and it's qualifying for individual assistance.
Wednesday, Senator Richard Blumenthal met with neighbors after NBC Connecticut made his office aware of this devastation. He said he'll push to get FEMA dollars for residents, now mourning the loss of items that are much more than just material things.
The contents of the dumpster are the contents of our lives, 23 years worth.
We're at the gate to the Xfinity Theater, and right next to us is the motorcade that just made its way in. They've parked their motorcycles and have just gotten off of them and are kind of standing by now ahead of the funeral that's set to start in about 10 minutes at 11 o'clock. You saw that motorcade make its way through the parking lot here, through rows and rows of police cruisers from all over the state of Connecticut, many with canines standing next to their officers, just showing solidarity and showing support to the Pelletier family. As we know, Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier was a canine trooper himself, so it was just so moving as you saw them make their way through those police cruisers with those canines standing by. Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier graduated from the Canine Academy in 2021. His dog's name was Rosso, and so it was just so moving to be standing here and have it be silent except for the sound of dogs barking as that procession made its way by. Very fitting for a canine trooper. Kevin Amber?
Amanda, I do have to ask you, I mean, you do your job, you're a wonderful journalist, but you are human too. Seeing that image of the officers with their canines by their side, what is the feeling of seeing that this morning?
Well, Kevin Amber, we've obviously been covering this since day one of this tragedy, and seeing that procession make its way through the gates and past those canines, I honestly got choked up myself. I'm not from a law enforcement family, but we work alongside these men and women every single day. And so it was just heartbreaking and so moving to watch it pass. I'm sure you guys felt it inside as well.
We asked Kevin Geist this earlier, Amanda, and we were certainly feeling it watching the images from the studio, but it seems very solemn there. There's not a lot of conversation going on. Is that accurate?
Very solemn. We're seeing these Connecticut State Police troopers embrace one another, hug, wipe tears from their eyes. We're seeing other state police troopers from New York, surrounding states, in this motorcade themselves, Massachusetts as well, standing by their Connecticut State troopers, their brothers and sisters, and just mourn with them. And as you can see, they're all standing here together, kind of taking a moment of silence and just reflecting on the life of Trooper First Class Aaron Pelletier.